Close your eyes and let yourself drift through time as we follow the gentle journey of how humans learned to share their feelings on paper. In the beginning, before paper, before printing presses, before the colorful cards we know today, there was simply the human need to connect. Imagine yourself in ancient Egypt, where the Nile flows peacefully under a warm sun. The year is somewhere around 3000 BCE, and you're watching a scribe carefully paint symbols on papyrus. These aren't just any symbols, they're messages of goodwill, blessings for the new year, wishes for prosperity and health. The Egyptians understood something fundamental about human nature. We want to mark important moments. We want to tell others they matter to us. When the Nile would flood each year, bringing life-giving nutrients to the soil, people would exchange simple written greetings, celebrating the renewal of life itself. These weren't quite greeting cards as we know them, but they carried the same spirit, the desire to reach across distance and time to touch another person's heart. Let your mind drift further east now, to ancient China. Feel the silk beneath your fingers, smooth and cool. The Chinese were masters of papermaking long before the rest of the world, and they used this precious material for many purposes. During the Han Dynasty, around 200 BCE, imagine nobles exchanging decorated cards during the New Year celebrations. These were called chunlian, or spring couplets. Picture red paper adorned with black ink, bearing messages of good fortune written in elegant calligraphy. The color red for happiness, and good luck. The careful brush strokes representing hours of practice and dedication. These early cards weren't mass-produced. Each one was a small work of art, a meditation in itself. A scholar might spend an entire afternoon composing just the right message, choosing words that would resonate with beauty and meaning. The very act of creating the card was an act of mindfulness, of honoring the recipient. Now drift with me to medieval Europe, where monks in candle-lit scriptoriums carefully illuminated manuscripts. The flicker of candles casting dancing shadows on stone walls. The scratch of quills on parchment. These monks, with their infinite patience, sometimes created special commemorative papers for religious occasions. Picture a monk named Brother Thomas, his fingers stained with ink, creating a beautiful Easter greeting for his abbot. Gold leaf catching the light. Intricate borders of vines and flowers. Latin phrases praising the resurrection. Each letter, a prayer. Each decoration, an offering. But greeting cards as we would recognize them were still centuries away. First, the world needed something revolutionary. Something that would change how humans communicated forever. Breathe slowly now and travel with me to 15th century Germany. The air smells of ink and metal. You can hear the rhythmic clank and press of something new, something that would transform the world. Johannes Gutenberg's printing press. It's around 1450, and Gutenberg is experimenting with movable type. Each letter carved individually, able to be arranged and rearranged. Imagine the possibilities dawning on people slowly, like sunrise over a still lake. If you could print books faster, you could print other things, shorter things, messages, greetings. The printing press didn't immediately create greeting cards, but it planted the seed. It made the idea of reproducing images and text affordable and accessible. Within decades, woodcut printing became popular for creating religious images that people could keep in their homes. These weren't cards yet. They were single sheets, often depicting saints or biblical scenes, sometimes with a short prayer or blessing printed beneath. Picture yourself in a 16th century German town. The cobblestone streets, the smell of bread baking, a printer's shop with its heavy press dominating the room. The printer, Hans, is creating what he calls Andachtsbilder, devotional images. Some of these include New Year's wishes or other greetings. They're simple, printed in black ink on rough paper, but they represent something new. The ability to share identical messages with multiple people. Let yourself relax deeper now as we move to early modern Europe. The Renaissance is blooming. Art and culture are flourishing. In Germany and Austria, a tradition begins to emerge. When someone wanted to make a formal visit or leave their card, to show they had called on someone, they would use what was called a visiting card or calling card. These visiting cards weren't greeting cards, but they're part of our story. Imagine a finely dressed gentleman in the 1600s arriving at a grand home only to find the lady of the house is out. He leaves a small card, about the size of a modern business card with his name engraved on it. Lord Wilhelm von Heidelberg, simple, elegant, a way of saying, "I was here, I thought of you." Now let your breathing slow even more as we approach a crucial moment in greeting card history. We're going to talk about love, about Valentine's Day, about how romance and paper became forever intertwined. The story begins with Saint Valentine himself. Though his history is shrouded in the soft mists of legend, the most common tale tells of a priest in Rome around 270 CE who defied Emperor Claudius II's ban on marriages for young soldiers. Valentine performed marriages in secret, believing in love's power. When discovered, he was imprisoned and eventually executed on February 14th. But here's where it gets interesting for our story. According to legend, while Valentine was in prison, he fell in love with the jailer's daughter. Before his execution, he wrote her a letter signed, "From your Valentine." Whether this story is true or not, it planted an idea that would bloom centuries later. Let yourself drift to medieval Europe now, to the courts of Charles, Duke of Orleans. The year is 1415. Charles is imprisoned in the Tower of London after being captured at the Battle of Agincourt. Imagine the stone walls, cold and damp, the small window letting in a sliver of light. And Charles, a poet at heart, writing love, letters to his wife in France. These letters survive today. They're considered the oldest known Valentines in existence. Charles wrote, "Je suis déjà d'amour tanné, ma très dulce Valentine," which translates roughly to, "I am already sick of love, my very gentle Valentine." Feel the melancholy in those words, the longing, the distance between two hearts. By the 1600s, Valentine's Day was becoming popular in England. Young lovers would exchange handwritten notes, sometimes accompanied by small gifts. Picture a young woman in 1660s London, sitting by candlelight, carefully writing to her beloved. She uses her finest handwriting. Perhaps she presses a flower between the pages. Maybe she seals it with wax, pressing her family's seal into the soft red wax. These early Valentines were intimate, personal, each one unique. A woman named Anne showed she cared by spending hours creating something beautiful with her own hands. A man demonstrated his devotion through carefully chosen words. But something was about to change, something that would make Valentine's Day, and greeting cards in general, accessible to everyone. Relax deeper now as we reach a pivotal moment. We're in early 19th century England, and several threads are coming together to create something new. First, there's paper. Paper production has improved dramatically. It's becoming more affordable, more widely available. The Industrial Revolution is changing everything, including how paper is made. Mills, powered by water wheels, can produce paper faster than ever before. Second, there's printing technology. Lithography has been invented, allowing for more detailed and colorful prints. Engraving techniques are improving. Color can be added, by hand or through multiple printing passes. Third, there's the postal system. This is crucial. In 1840, Britain introduces the penny post. Imagine what this means. For just 1 penny, anyone can send a letter anywhere in the country. Suddenly, sending mail isn't just for the wealthy. A factory worker can afford to send a valentine. A maid can write to her family in another town. And finally, there's a young woman named Esther Howland. But before we meet Esther, let's travel to Bath, England in the 1820s. A man named William Harvey has started a printing business. He's producing the Valentine cards. Not handmade ones, printed ones. Actual commercial Valentine cards that anyone can buy. These early commercial Valentines are charming in their simplicity. Picture black and white designs, often featuring cupids, hearts, flowers, and lovebirds. Some include short verses printed in decorative fonts. Roses are red, violets are blue, type sentiments. They're sold in stationery shops, and people can buy them, add their own handwritten messages, and send them to their sweethearts. William Harvey's son, George, expands the business in the 1840s. He hires artists to create more elaborate designs. He experiments with embossing, creating raised designs that you can feel with your fingers. Picture running your thumb over an embossed heart, feeling the paper rise and fall like gentle hills. The Harveys also start using scraps, layers of paper, lace, ribbons, and small decorative elements that can be lifted to reveal messages underneath. These scrap cards become wildly popular. Imagine receiving one, multiple layers, each concealing a surprise. A paper door that opens to reveal a tiny printed scene. A fan that unfolds to show a love poem. Now let yourself drift across the Atlantic Ocean. Feel the gentle rock of the ship, the salt spray in your face, until you arrive in Worcester, Massachusetts. The year is 1847. Esther Howland is the daughter of a bookseller. She's well-educated, creative, and business-minded, unusual for a woman in the 1840s. One day she receives an English valentine from a business associate of her father. It's elaborate, beautiful, far more decorative than anything available in America. Esther studies this valentine carefully. She turns it over in her hands, examining how it's constructed, the layers of paper, the embossed details, the delicate lace. And she thinks, I could make these. I could make them even better. She orders materials from England and New York, paper lace, embossed paper, colored lithographs, ribbons. She sets up a workspace in her family home. Picture Esther at a table covered with scissors, glue, and colorful materials. She creates sample valentines, each one a small work of art. Then she does something revolutionary. She asks her brother, who's a traveling salesman, to take her samples on his route and show them to stationery shops. She doesn't know if anyone will order them. She's just hoping. He returns with orders worth $5,000, an enormous sum in 1847. Esther realizes she can't possibly fill all these orders herself. So she does something else revolutionary. She creates an assembly line. She hires friends and local women. Each person specializes in one task. One applies glue, another adds lace, another positions the central image, another adds ribbons. It's like a small factory, but it's run entirely by women in a home, creating romantic valentines. Esther Howland becomes known as the mother of the American Valentine. By the 1850s, she's earning $100,000 a year, millions in today's dollars. Her valentines are in shops across America. Young women save their pennies to buy a Howland Valentine to send to their beloved. Close your eyes and imagine receiving one of Esther's valentines. Your name is Sarah, and it's February 14th, 1855. The postman brings you a letter, not just any letter, but a thick one, slightly padded. You open it carefully. Inside is layers of paper lace, white and delicate as snow. In the center, a hand-colored lithograph of a bouquet of roses, ribbons in soft pink. And underneath, when you lift, a small paper door, a printed verse, "My heart is yours, my love sincere, I send this token year by year." You hold it gently, knowing the person who sent this spent money they probably couldn't easily spare. Knowing they chose this one out of dozens at the shop because they thought it would make you happy. The card itself becomes a kind of promise. A tangible object that says, "You matter to me." Let your muscles relax completely now as we enter the Victorian era, when greeting cards truly came into their own. Queen Victoria reigns over Britain, and with her comes an emphasis on sentiment, propriety, and elaborate social customs. The Victorians loved greeting cards. They didn't just send valentines, they sent cards for everything. Christmas, birthdays, New Year, Easter, sympathy, congratulations, thank you notes, get well wishes, even apologies. Imagine Victorian London in the 1860s. Gaslight flickering in shop windows. Inside stationery stores, entire walls are devoted to greeting cards. Cards of every size, every design, every sentiment you could imagine. The Victorian Christmas card deserves special attention. The story begins with a man named Henry Cole. The year is 1843. Henry is busy, too busy in fact. He's a civil servant helping to establish the Public Record Office and the Victoria and Albert Museum. Christmas is coming, and he has dozens of friends and acquaintances to write to. The social expectation is clear. One must send Christmas greetings, But Henry doesn't have time to write individual letters to everyone. So Henry has an idea. What if he commissioned an artist to design a card and then had copies made? He could write a brief personal note on each one, but the main design would be the same. He approaches John Callcott Horsley, an artist and member of the Royal Academy. Picture them discussing the design. It should be festive, family-oriented. It should capture the spirit of Christmas. Horsley creates a design showing 3 generations of a family raising their glasses in a toast. On either side are panels showing charitable acts, feeding the Aïsanites, hungry, clothing the poor. Along the top, the message reads, "A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you." 1,000 copies are lithographed and hand-colored. Henry Cole sends them to his friends and acquaintances. He sells the extras for $1 each. The response is mixed. Some people love the idea. Others find it odd. A few are even scandalized because the central image shows children drinking wine, though in Victorian England, this wasn't uncommon. The card doesn't immediately start a trend, but the seed is planted. Over the next 2 decades, other people begin producing Christmas cards. The real explosion comes in the 1860s and 70s, driven by several factors. The postal service has improved. In America, the first postcards are introduced in 1873. The cost of printing has decreased. Color printing is becoming more sophisticated, and people's lives are changing. Families are spreading out, moving to different cities, different countries. Greeting cards become a way to maintain connections across distance. Let yourself imagine the variety of Victorian Christmas cards. They're nothing like modern Christmas cards. Some show traditional winter scenes, snow-covered cottages, people ice skating, children building snowmen. But others are decidedly strange. There are Christmas cards featuring dead robins in the snow. Cards with sad-looking children. Cards with anthropomorphic frogs dressed in Victorian clothing. Cards with cats playing musical instruments. Cards with absolutely no connection to Christmas whatsoever, just pretty flowers or scenic landscapes with Merry Christmas printed on them. Why such variety? Because the greeting card industry was still finding its footing. There were no established conventions about what a Christmas card should look like. Printers tried everything to see what would sell. One popular Victorian Christmas card shows a mouse standing upright, wearing a tiny jacket and carrying a walking stick. Another shows a family of cats having Christmas dinner. Another, rather darkly, shows a man drowning in a pond while onlookers rush to help, with the caption, "Wishing you the compliments of the season." Picture a Victorian family in their parlour. Opening cards they've received, the father reads them aloud. The children examine the pictures. The mother arranges them on the mantelpiece as decoration. Each card is kept, treasured, often collected in albums specifically designed for the purpose. The greeting card industry is booming. Louis Prang, a German immigrant to America, revolutionizes the industry in the 1870s. Louis is a master lithographer. He develops a technique for creating full-color prints using multiple lithographic stones. Sometimes 8, 10, even 20 different stones for a single image, each adding a different color or detail. Prang's Christmas cards are works of art. Picture a card from 1875, a spray of flowers so realistic you almost expect to smell them. Roses in deep reds and soft pinks, lilies in creamy white, every petal shaded to show dimension, the colors rich and vibrant. At the bottom, in gold lettering, a joyous Christmas. Prang doesn't just employ artists, he runs competitions, offering cash prizes for the best Christmas card designs. Artists across America submit entries. The winners are chosen by panels of judges, including famous artists and art critics. It's taken seriously as an art form. By the 1880s, Prang is selling over 5 million Christmas cards a year. His cards are exported to Europe. Queen Victoria herself is said to have admired them. Other companies try to compete, but Prang's quality is hard to match. Let your breathing become slower and deeper as we move through the Victorian card catalogue. There are birthday cards now, many featuring flowers and sentimental verses. Another. Year has come and gone, but you're remembered still. There are New Year cards, often showing father time with his scythe and baby New Year in a diaper. The symbolism is clear. Out with the old, in with the new. Fresh starts, new possibilities. There are Easter cards with chicks and rabbits, eggs and flowers, symbols of renewal and rebirth. The Easter card industry nearly rivals Christmas cards in popularity during the Victorian era, and there are more niche cards too. Sympathy cards with black borders and solemn verses. Congratulations cards for engagements, weddings, new babies. Cards for moving to a new house. Cards for nothing in particular, just friendship, just thinking of you. Now relax even further, as we enter what collectors call the golden age of postcards, roughly 1900 to 1920. Picture yourself at the turn of the 20th century. Automobiles are still rare. Airplanes have just been invented. But postcards are everywhere. The postcard craze that sweeps America and Europe in the early 1900s is hard to overstate. It's like social media before social media existed. People send postcards constantly, documenting their lives, sharing their travels, staying in touch with friends and family. Imagine you're visiting the seashore in 1905. You buy a postcard at a kiosk. It shows a lovely view of the beach, people in old-fashioned bathing costumes, colorful umbrellas. You write on the back, "Dear Mother, having a wonderful time. The weather is beautiful. We'll be home on the 20th. Love, Margaret." You drop it in a postbox. The next day, it arrives at your mother's house, delivered in the morning mail. She props it up on her dresser, looking at it throughout the day, imagining you on that beach. Postcards during this era are incredibly diverse. There are photographic postcards showing real places, Main Street in your hometown, Niagara Falls, the Grand Canyon, famous buildings, scenic views. There are illustrated postcards with drawings or paintings. There are comic postcards with jokes. There are romantic postcards, holiday postcards, advertising postcards. Postcards commemorating historical events. The Postal Service facilitates this boom by keeping postcard rates low. In America, you can mail a postcard for just 1 cent, half the cost of a regular letter. This makes postcards accessible to everyone. Workers send them to their families. Tourists send them from their travels. Lovers send them to each other, sometimes multiple times a day if they're separated. Let yourself imagine the routine of checking your mail in 1910. You might receive 3 or 4 postcards a day. One from your aunt in Boston, showing a snowy scene and wishing you happy holidays. One from your cousin, who's traveling through California, showing an orange grove. And one from your sweetheart, a romantic card with flowers and a simple message. Thinking of you always. People collect postcards in albums, organizing them by theme or sender. It's a hobby, a passion. Some people amass thousands of postcards. Children trade them like today's kids trade trading cards. The quality of these postcards varies widely. Some are simple, mass-produced images, but others are exquisite. German printers, particularly, produce beautiful embossed and gilded postcards. Picture a postcard with a raised design of holly and berries, each berry touched with red paint, the leaves embossed so you can feel their texture. Gold ink highlights the edges. It catches the light like jewelry. There are also hold to light postcards. You hold them up to a window or lamp and hidden images appear. A dark building suddenly has lit windows. A gray sky becomes studded with stars. These are created using layers of paper and strategic cutting. They're magical almost. A reminder that things aren't always as they first appear. During World War I, postcards serve another purpose. They're a way for soldiers to communicate with home. Military postcards, often with pre-printed messages that soldiers simply check off. "I am well. I have received your letter. Please send." Communication from the front lines is heavily censored, but these postcards allow at least brief contact. Imagine a mother in England receiving a postcard from her son in France. The front shows a patriotic image, perhaps a flag or a soldier standing proud. On the back, her son has checked "I am well" and added a brief note. "Miss you all. Hope to see you soon. All my love." She presses the postcard to her chest, closes her eyes, and prays for his safety. The postcard era eventually wanes. By the 1920s and 30s, the craze has cooled. Telephones are becoming more common. People can speak to distant loved ones directly. But greeting cards, the more elaborate, envelope-enclosed kind, continue to thrive. Let your breathing slow to a peaceful rhythm as we meet a man named Joyce Clyde Hall. The year is 1910, and J.C. Hall, as he prefers to be called, is just 18 years old. He's arrived in Kansas City, Missouri, with 2 shoeboxes full of picture. Them postcards. J.C. comes from Nebraska, from a poor family. He and his brothers have been selling postcards to make money. J.C. sees potential in Kansas City. It's a growing city, a transportation hub. He rents a room at the YMCA and starts selling postcards wholesale to stores. At first, it's a modest business, but J.C. has ambitions. He notices that postcards are great, but they're limited. They're impersonal. You can't write much on them. Anyone can read them. There's no privacy. So in 1913, J.C. and his brother Rolly start making greeting cards, the kind that come with envelopes. They don't have much money, so they buy sheets of paper, fold them into cards, and add decorative designs. It's humble, but it's a start. They call their company Hall Brothers. They work hard, traveling to stores, building relationships. The company grows slowly but steadily. Then disaster strikes. In 1915, a fire destroys their entire inventory and facilities. Everything is gone. They're left with nothing but debts. Most people would give up. J.C. doesn't. He borrows money. He rebuilds, and he makes a decision. He's going to make the highest quality greeting cards possible. Not the cheapest, the best. Picture J.C. in his rebuilt workshop in 1916, examining card designs. He hires talented artists. He invests in better printing equipment. He focuses on quality paper, rich colors, thoughtful sentiments. His cards cost more than competitors, but they're worth it. The business grows. In the 1920s, Hall Brothers starts using the trade name Hallmark. The reasoning? J.C. wants the name to evoke quality, like a hallmark on precious metals. When you care enough to send the very best will eventually become their slogan. Hallmark innovates in several ways. They're among the first to put their brand name on the back of cards. They develop special techniques: embossing, die cutting, foil, stamping. They create cards for increasingly specific occasions. Not just happy birthday, but happy birthday to a wonderful daughter, or happy birthday to my dear friend. Let yourself imagine browsing a card shop in 1930. There's a Hallmark display, cards arranged by occasion. The designs are elegant, often featuring art that wouldn't look out of place in a gallery. Watercolor flowers, delicate pen and ink drawings, carefully chosen verses that feel personal even though they're mass-produced. But Hallmark isn't alone. The American Greetings Company, originally called Card Store, has been operating since 1906. Gibson Art Company starts in 1885. These companies compete, but they also collectively build an industry. They convince Americans that sending greeting cards is not just acceptable but expected for virtually every occasion. The 1930s bring the Great Depression, but greeting cards remain popular. In hard times, people still want to mark special occasions, to show they care. A card is affordable, much cheaper than a gift. It's a way to maintain connections and brighten someone's day when money is tight. World War II affects the greeting card industry like everything else. Paper is rationed. Many workers are called to serve. But cards remain important. Soldiers send them home. Families send them to soldiers. Cards provide comfort, connection, a tangible reminder that someone is thinking of you. After the war, the greeting card industry explodes. America is prosperous. Suburban life is expanding. Families are having babies. Lots of babies. The baby boom means more birthdays, more occasions, more cards. Picture a 1950s housewife, let's call her Betty, planning a birthday party for her daughter. She goes to the drugstore and spends time at the greeting card rack, carefully selecting cards. One for her daughter, with a cute teddy bear on front. One for her own mother, thanking her for the gift she sent. One for her husband's birthday next week. She pays and walks home, satisfied with her selections. The 1950s and 60s see tremendous innovation in card design. Advances in printing technology allow for more complex designs. more colors, more special effects. Cards with glitter. Cards with fuzzy texture you can feel. Cards that play music when you open them. These come later, but the idea is being developed. Hallmark. Starts sponsoring the Hallmark Hall of Fame, television programs that often feature heartwarming stories. The connection between Hallmark and emotional, feel-good content becomes deeply embedded in American culture. Now let's relax into a different kind of card story. Not every card is sentimental. Not every card is sweet. Sometimes cards are funny. Humor has always been part of the greeting card world. Victorian postcards sometimes featured jokes. Early 1900s postcards often had comic scenes. But for much of the 20th century, mainstream greeting cards from companies like Hallmark were earnest, sentimental, proper. Then comes shoebox greetings, and later, companies like recycled paper greetings, and everything changes. Shoebox greetings starts in 1986 as a subsidiary of Hallmark, but with a different mission. Create cards that are funny, irreverent, sometimes a bit edgy, but still heartfelt. Picture cards with cartoon characters in absurd situations, with captions that make you laugh out loud. Example: a card showing a cat clinging to a ceiling fan, spinning around, with the caption, "Another birthday? Let's celebrate like we did last year." Open it up. Wake up on the couch in your clothes, wondering what happened. These cards speak to people who find traditional cards too saccharine. People who want to acknowledge an occasion, but with humor rather than sentimentality. The Biaxi birthday card that says, "You're not old, you're vintage," or "Another year older. At least you're not as old as you will be next year." Recycled paper greetings, founded in 1971, takes a different approach. Their cards often feature quirky art and offbeat humor. They're printed on recycled paper, hence the name, appealing to environmentally conscious consumers. Their cards feel alternative, countercultural, different from the mainstream. Picture a card from the 1970s showing a simple line drawing of a person with an enormous smile. The caption, "Have a nice day." It's simple, almost childlike, but it feels authentic in a way that elaborate traditional cards sometimes don't. The success of these alternative card companies forces the entire industry to evolve. Hallmark and American Greetings start their own alternative lines. The definition of what a greeting card can be expands dramatically. By the 1990s, you can find cards for almost any sentiment, any sense of humor. Cards that are silly. Cards that are sophisticated. Cards that are risque. Cards that are spiritual. Cards that are cynical. Cards that are empowering. Cards that are absurd. There are cards that don't even make sense until you think about them for a moment. Surreal humor, absurdist humor, pop culture references. Cards aimed at specific demographics, cards for cat lovers, dog lovers, coffee addicts, wine enthusiasts, readers, travelers, every niche interest imaginable. Let yourself imagine shopping for a card in the late 1990s. You walk into a card store and you're overwhelmed by choices. There's an entire section for belated birthday cards, for when you forgot someone's birthday and need to acknowledge it with humor rather than just apology. Sorry, I forgot your birthday. I was busy. Well, honestly, I just forgot. There are cards that fold out into 3 dimensions. Cards that play recorded messages when you open them. Cards that include gift cards. Cards that smell like perfume or chocolate. Cards that incorporate photographs. Cards that are also small gifts. Cards with socks attached, or bookmarks, or magnets. The technology continues to advance. In the early 2000s, cards with computer chips become more sophisticated. Musical greeting cards that play not just beeps, but actual recorded songs. Cards with LED lights that flash. Cards that record your voice so the recipient can hear you speak a personal message. Close your eyes and breathe slowly as we enter the age of the internet. The year is 1995, and something called the World Wide Web is becoming accessible to regular people. And with it comes a question. What will happen to greeting cards? Blue Mountain Arts, an existing greeting card company, launches one of the first e-card websites in 1996. The concept is simple. You choose a card design on the website, add a personal message, enter the recipient's email address, and click send. The recipient receives an email with a link. They click it and see the card. often with animation, music, and your message, and it's free, completely free. This seems like it might be the end of physical greeting cards. Why buy a card, write in it, address it, stamp it, and mail it when you can send an e-card instantly for free? Why wait days for delivery when it can arrive in seconds? Other companies rush to launch e-card services. Hallmark launches their own. American Greetings follows. Suddenly, there are hundreds of websites offering e-cards for every occasion imaginable. Picture someone in 1999 sitting at their desktop computer, scrolling through animated e-cards. One shows flowers blooming in fast motion while soft music plays. Another shows fireworks exploding while Happy Birthday plays. Another shows a funny dancing hamster. Yes, that was a thing. You choose one, type in, "Happy birthday, Mom. Hope your day is wonderful. Love, Sarah." Enter Mom's email and hit send. Done. Total time, maybe 3 minutes. The ease is undeniable. E-cards become popular for certain occasions, especially for people you care about but not quite enough to buy and mail a physical card. Co-workers' birthdays, distant relatives, casual friends. But something interesting happens. Physical greeting cards don't disappear. In fact, for important relationships and important occasions, people still prefer physical cards. Why? Because there's something about a physical card that an e-card can't replicate. The tangibility. The fact that someone had to go to a store, browse cards, choose one specifically for you, write in it, address it, stamp it, mail it. All those steps represent effort, investment, intention. A physical card sits on your mantle or your desk. You can touch it, look at it again and again. An e-card, once you've viewed it, is usually forgotten. It lives in your email, soon buried under dozens of other emails. The greeting card industry adapts. Sales dip in the early 2000s, but then stabilize. Companies realize they need to offer something that justifies the price and effort. Cards become even more elaborate. More special effects, better quality paper, more thoughtful messages, more specificity. Cards for increasingly specific relationships and situations. In 2007, the iPhone launches, and smartphones begin to change how we communicate. Text messages, social media. Facebook allows you to wish someone happy birthday with a single click. Twitter lets you send quick messages. Instagram lets you share photos with friends instantly. Again, it seems like greeting cards might be doomed. Why send a card when you can just text happy birthday or post on someone's Facebook wall? But again, physical cards persist. Because they're different. They're not instant communication, they're considered communication. They're not just about conveying information. They're about showing that you care enough to do something beyond the easiest option. Let yourself imagine receiving a birthday card in the mail in 2015. You get home from work, tired. You check your mailbox, bills, junk, mail, and an envelope addressed to you in familiar handwriting. Your grandmother's handwriting. You open it carefully. Inside is a card with flowers on the front. Inside, she's written, "Happy birthday, dear. I'm so proud of the person you've become. Love always, Grandma." You can't help but smile. You knew. It was your birthday. Everyone on Facebook posted on your wall. Your phone buzzed with texts all day. But this card, this physical object, means something more. You prop it up on your dresser. You'll keep it. Maybe forever. Now breathe deeply and let yourself drift into the world of handmade cards. While mass-produced cards dominate the market, something else has been happening. A renaissance of handmade, handcrafted cards. This movement has several roots. In the 1990s and 2000s, scrapbooking becomes incredibly popular. People create elaborate scrapbooks filled with photos, decorations, and memories. Companies sell scrapbooking supplies, decorative papers, stickers, stamps, embellishments of every kind. Someone realizes these same supplies can be used to make greeting cards. In fact, making cards uses less material than making scrapbook. Pages. You can make beautiful handmade cards relatively quickly and inexpensively. Picture a scrapbooker in 2005 surrounded by supplies. Patterned papers, ribbons, stamps, rubber stamps and ink pads, stickers, die-cut shapes. embossing folders, markers, and pens. She decides to make birthday cards for her family members instead of buying them. She spends a pleasant afternoon cutting, gluing, stamping, arranging. Each card is unique. Each one shows the time and care she invested. Card making becomes a hobby in its own right. Magazines devoted entirely to handmade cards appear. Card making blogs proliferate online. YouTube tutorials show techniques, how to do paper piecing, how to use embossing powder, how to create watercolor backgrounds, how to use die cutting machines. Companies that originally served scrapbookers pivot to also serve card makers. Stampin' Up! Becomes one of the largest direct-selling companies in America, hosting parties where consultants demonstrate card-making techniques and sell supplies. Etsy, launched in 2005, provides a marketplace for people to sell handmade cards. Suddenly, if you're good at making cards, you can turn your hobby into a business. Picture a woman named Rachel who makes beautiful handmade cards as gifts for friends. Someone suggests she sell them on Etsy. She opens a shop. Her cards are $5 or $6 each, more expensive than store-bought cards but much less than her time and materials would justify if she were charging fairly for her labor. But she loves doing it. Orders start coming in. People from across the country, across the world, buy her handmade cards. The handmade card movement represents something important, a rejection of pure mass production in favor of something more personal, more individual, more human. In a world of instant digital communication, taking time to make something by hand is meaningful. Let yourself imagine receiving a handmade card. Your friend opens the door, and before you can even say hello, she hands you an envelope. "I made this for you," she says, almost shyly. You open it. Inside is a card she's created, layered papers in colors she knows you love, a stamped image carefully colored with markers, a sentiment that feels perfectly chosen. "Thanks for being such a wonderful friend." It's not perfect. One of the corners is slightly crooked. There's a tiny smudge of ink on the edge. But these imperfections make it more precious, not less. They prove that human hands made this, that your friend spent time, real time, creating something specifically for you. Let your breathing become slow and even as we arrive in the present day. The greeting card industry today is a fascinating blend of tradition and innovation, of old and new, of digital and physical. The statistics are interesting. Despite predictions of their demise, Americans still buy approximately 6.5 billion greeting cards each year. That's more than 20 cards per person per year, including children. The industry generates around $7 billion annually in the United States alone. Women buy about 80% of all greeting cards. The average American household purchases about 30 cards per year. The occasions are predictable. Christmas and Valentine's Day account for the most cards, followed by birthdays, then Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, and so on. But the industry has evolved. Card companies understand that they're competing with free digital options, with text messages, with social media posts. So they focus on what makes physical cards special. Personalization has become huge. Many card companies now offer customizable cards where you can add photos, change the text, choose colors and designs. You design it online and they print and ship it to you. It's more expensive than buying a standard card, but it's more personal. Picture browsing, Shutterfly or Tiny Prints or similar sites. You're creating a birthday card for your mother. You upload a photo of her grandchildren, her favorite subject. You choose a design template. You add text. To the world's best grandma. You can preview it, make sure it looks right. You order it. A few days later, it arrives, looking professional but completely personalized. Subscription services have emerged. For a monthly fee, companies will send you a curated selection of greeting cards, enough to cover your needs for that month. Some services even track your important dates and send reminders, or automatically send cards on your behalf if you opt in. It's greeting cards meeting the subscription economy. Environmentally conscious card companies have grown. Cards made from recycled paper. Cards embedded with seeds that you can plant. Cards made from tree-free materials like cotton or bamboo. Cards printed with soy-based inks. These appeal to consumers who want to send cards but are concerned about environmental impact. Social impact cards have emerged too. Companies like Cards Unlimited, which employs people with intellectual disabilities to produce cards. Cards from small businesses owned by marginalized communities. Fair trade cards. Cards where a portion of proceeds goes to charity. For some consumers, buying these cards is a way to do good while also marking an occasion. The messages on cards have evolved to reflect changing society. There are now cards for same-sex weddings, cards for blended families, cards acknowledging divorce, congratulations on your new beginning, cards for coming out, cards for getting sober, cards for job, a loss, cards for every life situation imaginable, even difficult ones. Let yourself imagine browsing a modern card store, perhaps a Papyrus or an independent card shop. There's such variety. Traditional sentimental cards for people who want that. Funny. Cards ranging from gentle humor to quite edgy. Artistic cards that look like gallery pieces. Cards incorporating technology, ones that play videos when you open them. Cards that are also puzzles or small craft projects. Cards that include gifts, like bookmarks or seed packets. You pick up a card with a simple, modern design, geometric shapes in soft colors. Inside, instead of a pre-written message, it's blank except for a simple prompt. I appreciate you because it's inviting you to write your own message, to articulate what's in your heart. It recognizes that sometimes the most meaningful message is the one you write yourself. Relax even more deeply now as we explore something fascinating. Why do greeting cards matter? What happens psychologically when we give or receive them? Researchers have studied this. Dr. Melissa Norberg, a psychologist in Australia, conducted research on the emotional and psychological impacts of receiving greetings cards. She found that receiving a greeting card activates the same brain areas associated with reward and social connection. Cards make us feel valued, remembered, thought of. They strengthen social bonds. Think about what a card represents. When someone gives you a card, they're saying, I remembered this occasion. I thought about you. I went to effort, went to a store, selected this specific card from hundreds of options, wrote a message, addressed it, stamped it, mailed it. All for you. Every step of that process represents care. The card is physical evidence of that care. You can hold it, look at it repeatedly. Keep it for years as a reminder that you matter to someone. Interestingly, research shows that receiving a greeting card can have a more lasting emotional impact than receiving a gift. A gift is wonderful, but it's primarily a thing. A card is a message, a connection, a relationship affirmed. The gift gets used or worn or consumed. The card can be kept forever, looked at whenever you need a reminder that you're loved. Let yourself imagine a woman named Emma. She's going through a difficult time, recently divorced, feeling alone, questioning her worth. One day she receives a card from her sister. On the front, a simple watercolor painting of a sunrise. Inside, just wanted you to know I'm thinking of you. You're stronger than you know. I'm here whenever you need me. Love, Sarah. Emma reads it again, starts crying, not sad tears but relieved tears. The card sits on her kitchen counter. She looks at it every morning for weeks. On particularly hard days, she picks it up and reads it again. That card, that simple paper card, becomes a lifeline. A reminder that she's not alone, that someone cares. Cards also matter for the sender. The act of choosing a card for someone is an act of thinking about them. You consider who they are, what they're experiencing, what would resonate with them. You consider what you want to say to them. The card becomes a vehicle for expressing feelings that might be difficult to articulate otherwise. Some people aren't good at expressing emotions verbally. The card does it for them. The printed message inside says what they struggle to say out loud. But then they add their own message, building on the foundation the card provides. I love you, Mom. Thanks for everything you do. Simple words, but written in a card, they become a keepsake. Greeting cards also serve as markers of time, of relationships, of life's journey. People save special cards. Cards from weddings, births, milestones. Years later, they look back at these cards and remember. The card from their wedding day, the card their child made them for Mother's Day when they were 5. the card from a friend who's no longer living. Picture an elderly woman, let's call her Dorothy. She's in her 80s. She has a box, a shoebox actually, filled with greeting cards collected over decades. Cards from her late husband. Cards from her children as they grew up. Cards from friends, some of whom have passed away. On quiet afternoons, she sometimes takes out the box and looks through the cards. Each one is a portal to a memory, a moment, a relationship. The cards are treasures, more valuable than expensive jewelry, because they represent love. Let your mind drift now as we explore some of the special categories of greeting cards that have developed over time. Sympathy cards deserve special attention. These are among the most difficult cards to write or choose, but also among the most important. How do you express condolences? How do you acknowledge someone's grief? Traditional sympathy cards often feature peaceful imagery, sunsets, gardens, religious symbols like crosses or praying hands. The messages tend to be gentle, often religious in nature. In God's hands, or gone but not forgotten, or may the peace of God comfort you. But modern sympathy cards have become more diverse. There are sympathy cards for pet loss, acknowledging that the grief over a beloved pet is real and valid. There are sympathy cards that are more direct, less euphemistic. I'm so sorry for your loss, instead of flowery language about angels or heaven. Some sympathy cards explicitly acknowledge the inadequacy of cards. No card can truly express sympathy, but please know that you're in my thoughts. There's honesty in that. An acknowledgement that words, even printed words in a beautiful card, can't fix grief. But they can let someone know they're not alone. Imagine receiving sympathy cards after a loss. You're grieving, barely functional. Every day is a struggle, but the mailbox fills with cards. You open them one by one. Each card is someone saying, I'm thinking of you. Some include memories of your loved one. Some include offers to help. Some just say, I'm sorry. The cards pile up on your table. Later, when the initial shock of grief has worn off slightly, you go through them again, reading each one carefully. You're touched by who sent cards. Some are expected, close family and friends. But some surprise you. A distant cousin you haven't seen in years. A former co-worker. An old neighbor. Each card is a thread connecting you to community, reminding you that you're not alone in your grief. Get well cards are another important category. When someone is sick or injured, a get well card brightens their day. Hospitals even sometimes provide special wall space for displaying cards, proof that patients who receive cards often feel better, recover faster, have better morale. Get well cards often feature cheerful imagery, balloons, flowers, cartoon animals. The messages are optimistic. Get well soon! Thinking of you and wishing you a speedy recovery. Hang in there! But some modern get well cards acknowledge that recovery isn't always possible or quick. Cards for chronic illness. I know you're fighting hard. I'm here for you. Cards acknowledging that get well soon isn't always realistic. Thinking of you during this difficult time. Congratulations! Cards celebrate achievements. Graduations, new jobs, promotions, retirements, buying a house, having a baby, getting engaged. These cards are generally upbeat and celebratory. They often feature bright colors, confetti, balloons, champagne glasses, or other festive imagery. The messages congratulate and encourage. Congratulations on your achievement! Your hard work has paid off. So proud of you! Thank you cards are crucial in many cultures, especially American culture. There are social expectations around thank you cards. You must send them after receiving gifts at weddings or baby showers. You should send them after job interviews. You ought to send them when someone does something especially kind for you. Thank you cards range from formal to casual. Formal ones might have elegant calligraphy saying thank you on the front and be blank inside for your handwritten note. Casual ones might have funny images or punny messages. Thanks a latte with a coffee cup. You're tea-rific with a teacup. The important part isn't really the card itself, but the handwritten note. Inside, etiquette experts agree. A thank you card should mention the specific gift or action you're thanking them for. Explain how you'll use it or how it helped, and include a personal note about your relationship or hopes to see them soon. Picture a bride after her wedding, sitting down with a stack of thank you cards. She has a list of gifts and givers. She goes through methodically. Dear Aunt Carol, thank you so much for the beautiful serving platter. We'll use it when we host dinner parties in our new home. It was wonderful to see you at the wedding. Love, Melissa. It's time-consuming. Her hand cramps, but she knows it's important. These thank you cards acknowledge not just the gifts, but the people who gave them, the relationships, the support these people have shown. Blank cards, cards with beautiful designs but no printed message inside, have become increasingly popular. These appeal to people who want to write their own message entirely, or who want a card for a situation that doesn't fit standard categories. Picture a card with a stunning watercolor landscape on the front. Mountains, a lake, trees. No words. At all. Inside, completely blank. You buy it not knowing what you'll use it for. Then a friend shares difficult news with you. You want to reach out, but you're not sure what to say. I'm sorry doesn't seem like enough. Thinking of you feels trite. So you write from your heart. You share a memory of something meaningful you did together. You express your support. You tell them you're here if they need anything. The blank card gives you space to create a message that's exactly right for this specific situation and this specific person. Breathe slowly now as we appreciate the artistry that goes into greeting card design. Creating a greeting card is more complex than it might seem. Professional greeting card designers are often trained artists. They might have degrees in illustration, graphic design, or fine arts. They understand color theory, composition, typography, and visual communication. Picture a greeting card designer, let's call her Maria, sitting at her computer, working on a Mother's Day card line. She starts with market research. What are current trends? What sold well last year? What are customers asking for? She learns that customers want contemporary designs, less cutesy, more sophisticated. They want messages that acknowledge the complexity of mother-child relationships, not just saccharine sentiments. Maria sketches concepts. She's thinking about color. Mother's Day cards traditionally use pink and pastel colors, but she wants to try something different. Maybe deeper colors, burgundy, gold, navy. She's thinking about imagery. Flowers are standard, but what kind? Roses feel traditional. Maybe peonies, or an abstract floral pattern. She creates several designs digitally, some with hand-drawn elements that she scans and incorporates, some using stock imagery and decorative elements. She experiments with typography, what font feels right, serif or sans serif, script or block letters. Each design goes through multiple iterations. She presents them to her art director. They discuss. Some designs are approved to move forward, others are rejected. Not bad, just not quite right. Some need revisions. The approved designs then go to writers who will craft the messages. Writers are specialists too. They understand sentiment without being saccharine, humor without being offensive, brevity without being boring. Picture a greeting card writer named Tom. He's been assigned several Christmas card designs. He needs to write messages that will resonate with customers. Messages that feel personal, even though they're mass-produced. For a traditional family Christmas card showing a cozy winter scene, he writes, "May your home be filled with warmth, joy, and in love this Christmas season." For a funny Christmas card showing cats tangled in Christmas lights, he writes, "Christmas can get a little tangled, but it's always better with you." For a sophisticated card with elegant gold foiling, wishing you peace, joy, and all the beauty of the season. Each message is carefully crafted. Tom revises multiple times. He reads them aloud to see how they sound. He considers whether they work for the visual design. Would someone actually send this? Would receiving it make someone happy? The designs and messages are then refined. Sometimes certain designs are printed as samples and shown to focus groups. Do people like these? Which would they buy? Which would they never send? Feedback is collected and incorporated. Production is its own art. Decisions about paper stock, should it be glossy, Matte? Textured? Should it have any special finishes like embossing, foil stamping, die cutting? Each choice affects cost, but also quality and appeal. Some high-end cards use letterpress printing, an old technique where carved plates press into soft paper, creating subtle indentations you can feel. It's expensive, but creates a luxurious quality. Some cards use glitter, but not all glitter is equal. Cheap glitter sheds everywhere, good glitter stays on the card. Some cards now use biodegradable glitter for environmental consciousness. Some cards have windows, die-cut openings revealing something inside. Some fold unusually. Maybe they're gate-folded, opening from the center. Some are tall and narrow. Some are square. The shape itself is part of the design. Let yourself imagine holding a beautifully designed card. Pick one up. You can feel the quality of the paper, substantial and smooth. The colors are rich, printed beautifully. There's subtle embossing that you can feel with your fingertips. The message inside is in elegant typography, thoughtfully worded. Every element has been considered. This isn't just a card, it's a small work of art that someone has poured expertise and care into creating. Relax deeper as we take a gentle journey around the world, exploring how different cultures approach greeting cards. In Japan, greeting cards are deeply rooted in tradition, particularly New Year's cards called nengajo. The custom of sending New Year's cards dates back centuries. Every year, millions of Japanese people send nengajo to friends, family, colleagues, business contacts, and others. Picture the process. In November and December, people buy special postcard-style New Year's cards. They might be pre-printed with designs, often featuring the zodiac animal for the upcoming year, or blank for hand designing. People spend hours writing addresses and brief messages on these cards. They write so many that their hands cramp. The cards are often pre-printed with "Kotoshi mo yoroshiku onegai shimasu," roughly translating to, "I look forward to your favor again this year." It's both a greeting and a subtle renewal of social bonds. Here's what's special. Japan Post holds all nengajo mailed before a certain late December date and delivers them all on January 1st. Imagine waking up on New Year's Day and your mailbox is overflowing with cards, dozens, sometimes hundreds. Each one is a connection, a relationship maintained, a reminder that you're part of a community. The Japanese also exchange cards for other occasions. Summer greeting cards called shochu, imimai, are sent during the hottest part of summer to check on people's well-being. There are cards for various life events, always with careful attention to propriety and etiquette. Travel to India now, and you'll find greeting cards have become increasingly popular, especially for Diwali, the festival of lights. Diwali cards feature vibrant colors, reds, golds, oranges, and often incorporate traditional motifs like diyas, oil lamps, rangoli patterns, or images of Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity. Picture a family breaking their Ramadan fast on Eid morning. After prayers, children receive Eid cards from relatives, often with money tucked inside. The cards are colorful and joyful, celebrating the completion of a month of fasting and spiritual devotion. The cards are saved, displayed, treasured. In China, red envelopes called hongbao serve a similar function to greeting cards during Chinese New Year. While traditionally they're envelopes containing money, modern versions often include printed greetings and decorations. The red color symbolizes good luck and joy. Gold decorations represent prosperity. Characters for happiness, longevity, and wealth adorn the envelopes. Let your mind drift to Australia, where Christmas cards feature distinctly unsnowy imagery. Instead of winter scenes, Australian Christmas cards often show summer beaches, Santa in shorts, kangaroos wearing Santa hats, or native flora like flowering gum trees. It's Christmas, but in 90-degree heat at the beach under bright sun. The cards reflect this unique experience. In Scandinavian countries, cards for midsummer celebrations are popular. These feature flowers, lots of flowers, and bright, cheerful imagery celebrating the longest day of the year. The tradition of greeting cards adapts to each culture's specific celebrations and values. What's universal, though, is the underlying purpose: human connection. Marking important moments, showing you care. The specific occasions and imagery vary by culture, but the fundamental human need to reach out, to acknowledge others, to maintain bonds, that's the same everywhere. Breathe easily now as we explore a different side of greeting cards, their role in business and corporate settings. Business greeting cards have their own interesting history. In the early 20th century, companies began sending Christmas cards to customers and business partners. It was a way of maintaining relationships, expressing appreciation, and keeping the company name in front of people during the holiday season. Picture: a 1920s office. The company president decides they should send Christmas cards to all their clients. A secretary is assigned the task. She orders cards with the company name printed on them. Simple, professional cards wishing clients a Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year. She hand addresses each one. It takes days. But when customers receive them, they appreciate being thought of. Some display the cards in their own offices. The company's name sits on their desk all through December. By the 1950s and 60s, corporate Christmas cards have become standard business practice. Companies invest in custom-designed cards. Some are sophisticated, beautiful artwork, expensive paper, gold foil stamping. These cards are status symbols, showing the company's success and good taste. Other corporate cards are clever marketing tools. A toy company's Christmas card is designed like a small toy. An architecture firm's card folds into a 3D building. A printing company's card demonstrates various printing techniques. The card becomes an advertisement, but a welcome one. Creative, useful, memorable. Let yourself imagine being a mid-century executive secretary. Every December, you're responsible for the company Christmas card list. Hundreds of names, customers, vendors, business associates. You address each envelope by hand. Later, this will be typewritten, then computer printed. But in the early days, handwriting is expected. You include the executive's signatures, sometimes real signatures, sometimes printed facsimiles. You mail them in early December so they arrive on time. The practice evolves over the decades. By the 1970s and 80s, companies send cards for more than just Christmas. Thank you cards after business meetings, congratulations cards when a client wins an award or reaches a milestone, sympathy cards when a business associate loses a family member, get well cards when someone is ill. The greeting card becomes a tool for relationship management. Some companies hire services to handle this. Greeting card management companies maintain databases of important dates, clients' birthdays, anniversaries with the company, other milestones. They send cards automatically, signed with the executive's name. It's efficient, but it raises questions. Is an automated card meaningful? Does it count if the executive didn't personally choose and sign it? Real estate agents become particularly associated with greeting card sending. Picture a real estate agent, let's call her Jennifer, who has built her business largely on relationships. She maintains a database of every client she's ever worked with. She sends birthday cards to all of them every year. She sends anniversary cards, happy anniversary of your home purchase. She sends holiday cards. She sends thinking of you cards for no reason at all. Some of her clients joke about it. I always know my birthday is coming because Jennifer's card arrives. But they appreciate it. When they or their friends need a real estate agent, who do they call? Jennifer. Because she's stayed in touch. Because she's shown that she values the relationship beyond the transaction. Corporate holiday cards in modern times have become more inclusive. Not everyone celebrates Christmas, so many companies now send season's greetings or happy holidays cards that don't reference specific holidays. Some send New Year's cards instead, which are religiously neutral. Environmental consciousness affects corporate card practices too. Some companies have stopped sending physical cards entirely, instead making charitable donations in their clients' names and sending email notifications. This year, instead of sending cards, we've donated to Habitat for Humanity in your honor. Some clients appreciate this, others miss receiving the physical card. Picture a modern small business owner deciding whether to send holiday cards. The cost isn't insignificant, cards, postage, time to address them, but she remembers receiving cards from businesses she works with. and they always make her smile. She decides it's worth it. She orders cards with her company logo subtly placed, featuring a beautiful winter scene and a message thanking customers for their business. She handwrites a personal note in each one. The response surprises her. Several clients email or call to thank her for the card, to tell her how much they appreciate her business, to refer new customers. The cards are an investment that pays off. Business thank you cards have interesting etiquette around them. After a job interview, you're expected to send a thank you card or note. It should be handwritten on professional stationery. It should reference specific topics discussed in the interview. It should reiterate your interest in the position. It should arrive within 48 hours of the interview. Picture a young woman named Alex who just had a job interview for her dream position. She's nervous, hopeful. The interview went well, she thinks, but there are other candidates. She goes directly to a stationery store and buys simple, elegant thank you cards. That evening, she writes carefully, "Dear Ms. Johnson, thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I was especially excited to learn about the company's expansion into international markets, as this aligns perfectly with my experience and interests. I would be thrilled to join your team and contribute to these initiatives. Please let me know if you need any additional information. Sincerely, Alex Rodriguez." She mails it immediately. 2 days later, she gets a call offering her the job. The hiring manager mentions, "Your thank you note was very professional. It helped confirm that you're the right fit for our team." That simple card, that small gesture, made a difference. Let your breathing deepen as we enter the world of greeting card collectors. Yes, people collect greeting cards. Some collections are vast, valuable, and historically significant. Deltiology is the formal name for postcard collecting, and it's one of the world's most popular collecting hobbies. But people also collect other types of greeting cards: vintage Valentines, Christmas cards, birthday cards from specific eras, cards by particular artists, cards featuring specific themes. Picture a woman named Margaret who began collecting vintage Valentines in the 1970s. She'd find them at estate sales, antique shops, flea markets. Victorian Valentines with layers of lace. Edwardian Valentines with hand-painted details. 1920s Valentines with Art Deco designs. 1950s Valentines featuring cartoon characters. Each card tells a story. A Valentine from 1890 might have a handwritten message inside. "To my dearest Clara, my heart belongs to you. Forever yours, William." Did Clara and William marry? Did their love last? Margaret wonders about these lives, these relationships preserved in paper. She stores her collection carefully. Vintage cards are fragile. Paper yellows, edges tear, colors fade. She keeps them in acid-free sleeves in albums stored away from light and humidity. She catalogues them, noting the date, if known, the manufacturer, the condition, distinguishing features. Some collectors focus on cards from specific manufacturers. Hallmark collectors seek early Hallmark cards, especially from before 1950. Prang collectors want Louis Prang chromolithographs from the 1870s, 1890s. These can be quite valuable. Rare Prang Christmas cards in excellent condition can sell for hundreds of dollars. Other collectors focus on themes. One collector might seek only cat-themed cards. Another collects cards featuring African American images and experiences. These are historically significant, documenting how Black people have been portrayed in popular culture over time. Another collects only cards featuring Santa Claus, tracing how Santa's image has evolved over 150 years. Let yourself imagine browsing a collector's website or visiting a collector's home. Walls are lined with carefully framed vintage cards. A Victorian Valentine in an ornate gold frame. A set of 1920s Art Deco Christmas cards displayed in a shadow box. Albums filled with postcards organized by era, by theme, by location. The collector explains, "This is a Kate Greenaway Valentine from 1885. Greenaway was a famous illustrator. See her style. The children in old-fashioned clothing? And this one. This is a mechanical Valentine from 1900. See? When you pull this tab, the child's arm moves, holding out a heart. Isn't it clever? Museums have greeting card collections too. The Hallmark Visitor Center in Kansas City houses an enormous collection, including Hallmark's archives and vintage cards from other manufacturers. The Museum of Modern Art in New York has exhibited greeting card designs as art. The Victorian and Albert Museum in London has greeting cards in their collection dating back to the 1840s. These collections are important historically. They document social history, how people communicated, what they valued, how they marked important occasions. They show design trends, printing technology evolution, changing social norms. A collection of W22-era cards shows patriotic themes, references to rationing, soldiers, and home front. A collection of 1960s cards shows bright colors, mod designs, changing gender roles. Some collectors specialize in what are called ephemera, paper items that were meant to be temporary but have been preserved. Greeting cards fit this category. They were meant to be received, enjoyed briefly, perhaps kept for a while, and eventually discarded. But some have survived decades, even centuries, preserved by pack rats, by sentimental souls, by people who couldn't bear to throw them away. Picture an attic in an old house. Someone is sorting through belongings from an elderly relative who has passed away. In a trunk, they find a box of valentines from the 1920s and 30s. Dozens of them, saved by someone long ago. Each one signed, "From your secret admirer." Did the recipient ever discover who sent them? The mystery is lost to time, but the cards remain beautiful and touching. The collectors' community is passionate. They attend postcard shows and paper collectibles fairs. They trade with each other. They publish catalogs and price guides. Online forums and Facebook groups connect collectors worldwide. Someone in Japan might have a duplicate card that someone in Ohio desperately wants for their collection. They arrange trades, share knowledge, help each other date and identify cards. Breathe slowly and let yourself reflect on something many of us do. Keeping cards. Why do we save greeting cards? What makes us hold on to these pieces of paper? Psychologically, greeting cards serve as what researchers call memory objects or transitional objects. They're physical anchors to memories, to relationships, to specific moments in time. Looking at a card can transport you back to when you received it, help you remember how you felt, reconnect you with the person who sent it. Picture a woman named Linda, who has kept every birthday card her children ever made her. They're adults now, with children of their own. But Linda has a drawer full of construction paper cards with crayon drawings. A card from when her son was 5, showing a stick figure with a big smile and "I love you, Mommy" in shaky letters. A card from her daughter at age 8, more elaborate, with glitter and stickers, and a long message about why Mom is the best. Linda doesn't look at these cards often, but knowing they're there matters. They're proof of her children's love, yes, but also proof of time passing, of her children's development, of her role in their lives. When she does pull them out, maybe when she's feeling low or when one of her kids is struggling, she looks through them and remembers. They were so small. They loved her so openly, so completely. They still do, though they express it differently now. Some people keep cards for practical reasons. A sympathy card includes a beautiful message about grief that comforts you months after the loss. A card with a quote that resonates. A card with a prayer or blessing you want to remember. These cards are kept and reread, serving almost like tiny books of wisdom. Other cards are kept purely for sentimental reasons. The first Valentine from your now spouse. The congratulations card when you graduated. The card your grandmother sent you the Christmas before she died. You had no idea it would be the last card from her, but now it's precious beyond measure. Let yourself imagine going through cards you've saved. Maybe you have a box or a drawer. You pull them out. Here's a card from your 30th birthday from a friend who moved away. You haven't spoken in years, but this card reminds you of when you were close. Here's a card your father sent you in college. Just a simple thinking of you card. But the icy fact that he thought to send it, that he wanted you to know he was thinking of you, that means everything. Some cards are kept because of who sent them. Cards from children are almost always saved by parents. Cards from parents are often saved by children, especially after the parents pass away. Finding a card from your mother, after she's gone, reading her handwriting, seeing "Love, Mom." It's devastating and comforting at once. Cards from romantic relationships have particular power. People often save every card from a significant relationship. If the relationship ends, deciding what to do with these cards becomes fraught. Do you keep them? Throw them away? Some people burn them in dramatic rituals. Others can't bear to destroy them. The relationship ended, but it mattered. Those feelings were real. The cards are evidence of something that was important, even if it's over. Picture someone going through cards after a breakup. This Valentine's card, you're my everything. This anniversary card, forever and always. The promises didn't hold, but they were sincere when given. What do you do with evidence of failed hopes? Some people box them up and put them away, unable to display them, but unwilling to destroy them. Others keep only one or two, the most meaningful ones, and let the rest go. Cards from people who have died become especially precious. Your grandmother's signature, your best friend's handwriting, the specific card they chose for you. Why that? 1. What about it made them think of you? These cards become relics in the truest sense, physical connections to people we can't touch anymore. Therapists sometimes encourage keeping meaningful cards as part of self-care. When you're depressed, when you doubt yourself, when you feel alone. Pull out cards people have sent you. Read the love, the encouragement, the appreciation. These cards are evidence that you matter, that you're loved, that you've made a difference in people's lives. There's something about having physical evidence that matters psychologically. A text message saying I love you is lovely, but it lives in your phone, mixed with hundreds of other messages. A card saying I love you can sit on your desk. You can pick it up. You can put it somewhere you'll see it daily. The physicality matters. Some people create specific ways of keeping cards. Shadow boxes displaying special cards. Frames holding wedding cards or baby shower cards. Scrapbooks dedicating pages to cards from specific events. Photo albums with pockets for both photos and cards. These methods honor the cards, treating them as important rather than just paper clutter. Others keep cards more casually, stuffed in a drawer, tossed in a box, mixed together without organization. But even this casual keeping is meaningful. You didn't throw them away. Somewhere inside, you knew you might want them later. Relax deeply now as we explore how sending cards can be therapeutic for the sender, not just meaningful for the recipient. Psychologists have researched the benefits of expressing gratitude, and sending thank you cards is one way to practice gratitude regularly. When you sit down to write a thank you card, you're taking time to acknowledge something good, a gift, a kindness, a person who matters to you. This practice of acknowledgement has been shown to increase happiness and life satisfaction. Picture a practice called a gratitude card project. Every week you commit to sending one card expressing gratitude or appreciation to someone in your life. Week 1, you send a card to your mother, thanking her for always being there for you. Week 2, to a colleague who helped you with a difficult project. Week 3, to your mail carrier, appreciating their reliability and friendly demeanor. Week 4, to an old teacher who influenced your life. As you do this, something shifts. You start noticing more things to be grateful for. You become more aware of kindness, of help, of the many ways people contribute to your life. The act of sending cards trains you to look for the good, to acknowledge it, to express it. This is therapeutic. Studies show that gratitude practices reduce depression and increase resilience. Sending cards during difficult times can also be therapeutic for the sender. When someone you know is struggling, sick, grieving, going through a hard time, you often feel helpless. What can you do? How can you help? Sometimes there's nothing concrete you can do, but you can send a card. The act of choosing the card, of thinking about what to write, of taking the time to do this, it makes you feel less helpless. You're doing something. It might be small, but it's something. And often, it's exactly what's needed. Imagine your friend has just lost her father. You want to help, but she lives far away. You can't attend the funeral. You feel terrible, useless. So you go to the store and spend genuine time choosing a sympathy card. You read through dozens until you find one that feels right, one that acknowledges how difficult this is, that expresses sympathy without platitudes. You take it home, you sit down and write a letter inside, sharing your favorite memory of her father, expressing how much you care about her, offering specific help. I'm calling you next Tuesday, and we're going to talk for as long as you want. You seal it, mail it, and you feel better. Not happy. Your friend is still grieving, but less helpless. You've done what you could. You've reached across the distance and said, I'm here. For people who struggle with verbal expression of emotion, cards are particularly valuable. Some people find it nearly impossible to say I love you out loud, but can write it in a card. The card provides structure, permission, a framework for expressing feelings that otherwise stay locked inside. Picture a father who grew up in a generation where men didn't talk about feelings. He loves his children deeply, but has never been good at saying so. Birthdays come and he buys cards. Inside, he adds to the printed message, proud of you, love Dad. Just 4 words, but for him, this is vulnerable. His children treasure these cards. They know their father loves them, but seeing it in writing, in his handwriting, makes it real in a different way. Sending cards can also be a meditative practice. In our hurried digital world, sitting down to write cards requires slowing down. You can't rush it. You have to think about the person, think about what to say, physically write it out. This slowness, this mindfulness, is therapeutic in itself. Some people make a ritual of it. Every Sunday evening, they set aside time for card writing. They make tea. They sit at their desk, they have their cards, their good pens, their address book. They write to whoever is on their mind that week. It becomes a peaceful practice, a way of connecting with others and with themselves. Let yourself imagine this ritual. You light a candle, you put on soft music, you have a stack of blank cards in front of you. You buy them specifically for this purpose, pretty cards with artwork you love. Tonight you're writing to your aunt whose birthday's coming up. You think about her kindness, her humor, how she's always made you feel special. You write, Dear Aunt Jean, I'm thinking of your birthday and thinking of you, how lucky I am to have you in my life. Do you remember that summer you taught me to make jam? I still think of you every time I spread jam on toast. Thank you for being such a special person. Love always, Emily. The act of writing this, of really thinking about your aunt, of articulating your appreciation, makes you feel connected to her even before she receives the card. You feel grateful, you feel loving. These are good feelings, healthy feelings. The card does something for you, the sender, even as it will do something for her, the receiver. Let your mind drift through examples of greeting cards in stories, movies, and songs. Greeting cards have appeared in popular culture countless times, often at pivotal moments. In the movie The Holiday, Cameron Diaz's character works for a company that makes movie trailers, but her love interest, played by Jack Black, is a film composer. There's a beautiful scene where characters are in a card shop, reading cards, and the selection of a card becomes meaningful. What you choose to say, how you choose to say it, all matters in the context of relationships. The TV show Felicity had an episode centered on a Valentine's Day card. The protagonist receives an anonymous Valentine and spends the episode trying to figure out who sent it. The card becomes a mystery, a romantic puzzle, driving the plot forward. In the movie P.S. I Love You, the entire plot centers on letters, a card adjacent, that a deceased husband wrote to his wife before he died to be delivered after his death. While not greeting cards exactly, they serve the same purpose, reaching across distance, in this case the ultimate distance of death, to express love and care. Country music is full of songs about cards and letters. What You're Made Of by Lucy Silvers references 3 cards in the mail this month already. The Carpenters sang Rainy Days and Mondays with the line about funny papers and the Sunday funnies, evoking a slower time of paper communication. Johnny Cash's I Got Stripes mentions mail call in prison, letters and cards being lifelines into the outside world. Literature has many examples too. In Jane Austen's time, while greeting cards as we know them didn't exist, letters served similar functions, and Valentine traditions were developing. Characters exchange Valentines in Victorian novels, sometimes driving plot or revealing character. Children's literature frequently features cards. The Jolly Postman by Janet and Alan Allberg is a book where each page includes an actual envelope containing a letter or card. The reader can pull them out and read them. There are letters to fairy tale characters, a letter from the big Bad Wolf's lawyer to the 3 little pigs, a postcard from Goldilocks to the 3 bears. Picture a child reading this book, the delight of opening each envelope, of pulling out the actual card or letter. It makes the story tactile, interactive, more real. Cards and letters aren't just described, they're objects you can hold. In the Little House on the Prairie series, receiving anything in the mail, including cards, was an event. Laura Ingalls Wilder describes the excitement of Christmas cards and Valentines in frontier life, where mail delivery was infrequent and contact with distant friends and family was precious. Greeting cards appear in moments of emotional significance in countless books and films. The character who sends a secret admirer card, the protagonist who receives a card from someone they thought had forgotten them, the emotional scene where someone keeps every card they've ever received from a loved one. These moments resonate because we recognize them. We've lived versions of these moments ourselves. Comic strips have featured greeting cards too. Peanuts often had Valentines as plot points. Charlie Brown never receives Valentines, while Lucy receives many, though not from Schroeder, to her disappointment. These strips resonated because they captured real childhood anxieties about Valentines, about being chosen, about belonging. The movie Valentine's Day is essentially a rom-com structured around Valentine's Day cards, gifts, and celebrations. Multiple interconnected stories all center on this one day devoted to love, and how cards and gifts and expressions of feelings go right or wrong. Even horror has embraced greeting cards. My Bloody Valentine uses Valentine's Day imagery, hearts, cards, cupids, in a horror context. The juxtaposition of sentiment and terror is effective precisely because Valentine's cards are so associated with love and safety. Let yourself think about cards you've seen in movies, read about in books, heard referenced in songs. They appear in weddings, characters reading cards from wedding gifts. They appear in funerals, sympathy cards piling up. They appear in romantic comedies. Will he, she sign the card love or just with their name? They appear in dramas. The card that arrives too late or just in time or changes everything. Cards in popular culture reflect cards in real life. They matter in stories because they matter to us. They're vessels of emotion, markers of relationships, physical proof that someone cares. Now relax and let your thoughts drift forward, wondering about the future of greeting cards. Where is this centuries-old tradition heading? Despite predictions of their demise, greeting cards persist. The industry has proven remarkably resilient, but it's also adapting, evolving, finding new ways to stay relevant in a digital age. Augmented reality, AR cards are emerging. Picture this. You receive a greeting card that looks relatively normal, but when you point your smartphone at it using a special app, suddenly 3D animations appear. Balloons float up from the card. Confetti explodes. A recorded message plays. The physical card becomes a portal to digital content. It's hybrid, the tangibility of paper plus the dynamism of digital media. Video greeting cards are becoming more sophisticated. Not just cards that play a simple tune, but cards with small screens that play actual video messages. You record yourself singing happy birthday, telling someone you love them, sharing a memory. The card plays it back when opened. It's more personal than a generic recorded message, more permanent than a social media video that disappears into the feed. Personalization technology is advancing. You can now order cards where every element is customized, not just adding a photo, but changing colors, moving design elements around, writing custom messages in various fonts, creating something truly unique. It's still mass-produced in the sense that a company prints it for you, but the design is entirely yours. Subscription services continue to evolve. Some services use AI to learn your relationships and preferences. You tell it about the important people in your life, and it reminds you of birthdays, anniversaries, and other occasions. It even suggests specific cards based on what it learns about each person's interests and your relationship with them. You can approve and personalize each suggestion. It's like having a personal assistant for greeting cards. Sustainability is becoming more important. Companies are developing cards made from materials like plantable seed paper. You can literally plant the card after reading it, and flowers will grow. Cards made from ocean-bound plastic waste, transformed into beautiful stationery. Cards with zero plastic packaging, fully biodegradable, carbon-neutral production. As environmental consciousness grows, these options appeal to consumers who want to send cards but not create waste. Picture a card made from seed paper. It's beautiful, thick, textured paper with visible flower seeds embedded in it. The design is lovely, printed with soy-based inks. The message inside is touching. After you've enjoyed the card for a while, you tear it into pieces, plant them in soil, water them, and weeks later, wildflowers bloom. The card gave you a message of love, and then it gave you living beauty. Nothing was wasted. Blockchain technology might even enter the greeting card world. NFT greeting cards, digital cards that are unique, ownable, tradable. It seems strange, but it's being explored. The idea is capturing the collectability and uniqueness of physical cards in digital format. Whether this catches on remains to be seen. But the core function of greeting cards seems unlikely to change. Humans will always need ways to mark important occasions, to express emotions, to maintain relationships. The format might evolve. Maybe someday cards will be holographic, or delivered by drone, or created through thoughts translated by neural interfaces. But the underlying human need remains constant. Let yourself imagine greeting cards 50 years from now. What will they look like? Will people still send physical cards, or will everything be digital? Will there be new occasions we haven't thought of yet? Cards for graduating from virtual reality school, cards for the anniversary of your AI companion, cards celebrating someone's 150th birthday in an age of life extension, or maybe greeting cards will circle back to simplicity. Maybe in a world of overwhelming technology, the simple act of a handwritten card will become even more valuable, more countercultural, more meaningful. A rejection of instant digital communication in favor of something slower, more thoughtful, more permanent. Some trends suggest this is already happening. Younger generations, digital natives, are showing surprising interest in analog experiences. Vinyl records, film photography, and yes, sending physical mail. There's something appealing about the tangible, the permanent, the real in a world that's increasingly virtual. Picture a teenager in 2026, tired of the constant stream of texts and social media messages, deciding to send her best friend a real birthday card. She goes to a store, browses cards, chooses one carefully. She writes a long message inside. Not the short text speak she usually uses, but complete sentences, detailed thoughts, genuine emotions expressed fully. She mails it. Her friend is surprised and deeply touched. In a world where everything is instant and digital, this card stands out. It matters more because it's different, because it required effort. The future of greeting cards likely isn't either-or, not purely physical or purely digital. It's probably both and. Digital cards for convenience, for quick connections, for less important relationships. Physical cards for relationships that matter most, for occasions that deserve more effort, for messages you want the recipient to keep. Let your breathing become very slow and peaceful now, as we arrive at the heart of what greeting cards are, really about. Strip away all the commercial aspects. Forget the card industry, the profits, the marketing. Forget the elaborate designs and special effects. At its core, a greeting card is simple. It's one person reaching out to another person to say, "I thought of you." That's what has remained constant through all the centuries, all the cultures, all the variations. From ancient Egyptian papyrus to augmented reality cards, the message is the same. You matter to me. Picture the most basic greeting card imaginable. A piece of paper folded in half. On the front, a simple drawing. Maybe a flower, maybe a heart, maybe just a few words in nice handwriting. Inside, a message. Thinking of you, that's all, but that's everything. Because being thought of is a fundamental human need. Being remembered, being valued, knowing you're not alone, not forgotten, not insignificant. A greeting card in its simplest form meets that need. Think about the effort required to send a card. In our modern world, it's not much effort. Going to a store, choosing a card, writing in it, mailing it takes maybe 15 minutes total. But it's infinitely more effort than sending a text, which takes seconds. That difference in effort is the difference in meaning. The card says, "You're worth 15 minutes of my time. You're worth the cost of the card and postage. You're worth me thinking about you, specifically, and choosing something specifically for you." The handwritten message inside the card is particularly important. Even if the card has a long printed message that says everything perfectly, the handwritten edition matters. Your handwriting is unique to you. It's physical evidence that you, specifically, wrote this. It's your hand that formed these letters. There's intimacy in that, connection in that. Let yourself think about the last card you received that really mattered to you. Maybe it was a birthday card, maybe a sympathy card during a difficult time, maybe a just because card sent for no reason other than the sender was thinking of you. What made it meaningful? Probably it was the fact that someone took time for you, that they were thinking about you and wanted you to know it, that they translated their internal emotional state, caring about you, loving you, worrying about you, celebrating with you, into a physical object that made that emotional state real and visible. Cards are physical proof of intangible things. Love is invisible. Care is invisible. Friendship is invisible. But a card makes these things visible. It says, "My love for you is so real that here you can hold it in your hands. My friendship with you matters so much that I'm marking it with this paper that you can keep, look at again, remember." In a world that's increasingly fast, increasingly virtual, increasingly overwhelming, greeting cards are a small anchor to something slower, something tangible, something meaningful. They're a resistance against the tide of shallow, instant communication. They're saying, this relationship is important enough to deserve more than a quick text. Picture an elderly woman living alone. Her children live far away, busy with their own lives. She understands, life is like that. But sometimes she feels forgotten. Then one day, her mailbox contains a card from her daughter. Nothing special, just a thinking of you card. But her daughter had to think of her to buy it, to write in it, to mail it. Her daughter remembered her. Her daughter took time for her. The woman puts the card on her kitchen table where she can see it. Every time she looks at it, she feels less alone. Or picture a young man going through a difficult time, job loss, relationship troubles, health issues. Everything feels hard. One day, he receives a card from a friend. The front shows a sunrise. Inside, his friend has written, "I know things are tough right now. I want you to know I believe in you. You're going to get through this. You're stronger than you think. Call me anytime. Love, Marcus." He reads it again, starts crying. Not sad tears, but tears of relief and gratitude. Someone cares. Someone believes in him. Someone took time to tell him so. He props the card up on his desk. On hard days, he looks at it. It helps. Breathe deeply now and think about the rituals surrounding greeting cards. Rituals help structure our lives, mark important moments, create meaning. Greeting cards are part of many rituals. The ritual of birthday cards is probably most universal. In many families, you wake up on your birthday to cards from family members propped up at your place at the breakfast table. Or cards arrive in the mail over the week of your birthday, each one extending the celebration. Picture a child's birthday morning. She wakes up and runs to the kitchen. At her seat, there are cards from mom and dad, from grandma and grandpa, from her siblings. She opens them one by one, delighting in each. Some have money inside. Grandma always includes a crisp bill. Some have funny jokes. Some have heartfelt messages. The cards make her feel celebrated, special, loved. This ritual will repeat every year of her childhood, creating a pattern of being celebrated that shapes her sense of self-worth. The Christmas card ritual in many families involves displaying the cards they receive. A string across the mantel, cards hung from it with clothespins, or cards standing on the mantel itself, or a basket full of cards that people can browse through. The cards become decoration, but they're also more than decoration. They're reminders of community, of all the people who thought of this family, who took time to send greetings. Picture a family on Christmas evening after the gifts have been opened when things are quiet. Someone picks up the stack of Christmas cards and starts reading through them. "Oh, we got a card from the Johnsons. Their daughter got married this year. Look at this one from Aunt Carol. She included a photo of her new puppy. Remember we got a card from the Millers? We should send them one next year." The cards prompt memories, connections, sometimes reminders to reach out to people more often. Wedding cards become part of wedding rituals. Many couples have a decorated box or basket at their wedding where guests can put cards. After the wedding, during the honeymoon, or when they return home, the couple sits together and opens all the cards. They read the messages, often moved to tears by the love expressed. They make a list of who sent what so they can write thank you notes. Let yourself imagine being a newlywed couple, opening wedding cards. You're exhausted from the wedding, but also exhilarated. You sit together on your couch, the stack of envelopes between you. You open them one by one. Your college roommate wrote a long message about how she knew from the moment she met your spouse that they were perfect for you. Your uncle included a generous check and a note saying he's proud of you. Your grandmother's card includes her and your grandfather's wedding photo and a message about lasting love. You cry, your spouse cries. These cards are treasures. You'll keep them forever, probably, or at least keep a few of the most special ones. The ritual of sympathy cards is important too. After a death, cards and flowers arrive at the bereaved family's home. The cards accumulate on a table or counter. Initially, the family might not have energy to read them all, but later, in the weeks and months after the funeral, they sit down and go through them carefully. Picture a widow, several weeks after her husband's death. She's finally ready to read through the sympathy cards. She sits at her kitchen table with a cup of tea and the stack of cards. She reads each one slowly. Some are from people she expected, close family and friends. Some are surprises, distant acquaintances, people her husband knew through work whom she barely knew. Each card tells her that her husband's life mattered, that his death left a hole, that people care about her pain. The cards become part of her grieving process, helping her feel less alone. Even the ritual of shopping for greeting cards is meaningful for some people. There are people who browse greeting cards the way others browse bookstores, slowly, appreciatively, enjoying the designs and messages even when they're not shopping for anyone in particular. Picture a woman who stops by a card shop every week, or two, just to browse. She's drawn to beautiful paper, lovely design, thoughtful words. She might not need a card right now, but she knows her mother's birthday is in a few months, so she keeps an eye out for the perfect card. When she finds it, an elegant card with watercolor flowers and a message that perfectly expresses her love for her mother, she buys it, takes it home, and puts it in her card drawer. Later, when her mother's birthday arrives, she already has the perfect card waiting. Now let's think about something tender and sad, cards we buy but never send. This happens more often than you might think. Sometimes we buy a card with full intention of sending it, but life gets in the way. The card sits in a drawer. Time passes. Eventually it feels too late to send it, or the moment has passed, or the relationship has changed. The card becomes an artifact of an intention, a gesture that was felt but not completed. Picture someone who bought an "I'm sorry" card after a fight with a friend. The intention was real. She planned to write in it and mail it. But days passed. Pride got in the way, or fear, or just inertia. The card remains unsent. The friendship drifted apart. Years later, she finds the card and feels regret. Not regret about buying it, but regret about not sending it. Such a small thing, stamping and mailing a card, but sometimes small things are hardest. Some people buy cards for people who have died before they can send them. You see the perfect Mother's Day card for your mom. You buy it, planning to send it in a few weeks when Mother's Day arrives. But your mother dies suddenly. The card is now unsendable. You keep it anyway, this card meant for someone who will never read it. Sometimes people write in these cards anyway, messages to people who have died, expressing things they wish they'd said. The card becomes a private memorial, a one-sided conversation with someone who is gone. Let yourself imagine finding such a card. Maybe you're going through a deceased parent's belongings, and you find a card they bought for you but never sent. Maybe your birthday was coming up, and they'd already picked out your card, but they died first. You hold this card, this proof that they were thinking of you, planning to celebrate you. It's heartbreaking and precious at once. You keep the card, unopened or opened, treasuring this last intended gesture of love. Other cards are bought with hope, but never sent because the hope dies. A romantic card bought for someone you have feelings for, but you never get the courage to give it to them. A congratulations on your pregnancy card, bought for someone who then miscarries. You obviously can't send it now. A good luck in your new home card for someone whose move falls through. These cards hold dead hopes, expired futures, things that might have been but weren't. Sometimes the unsent card is a choice. You write a long, angry letter card to someone who hurt you. You write everything you feel, everything you want to say, but then you don't send it. The act of writing it was cathartic. You needed to express the feelings, to articulate the hurt. But sending it wouldn't help. Maybe it would make things worse. Maybe that relationship is over, and sending the card would be reopening a wound. So the card stays unsent, but it served its purpose anyway. It helped you process. Picture someone who has written and rewritten a card to an estranged family member over and over. They want reconciliation, but don't know how to bridge the gap. They've bought multiple cards over the years, cards saying, "I miss you," or "Let's reconnect," or "I'm sorry for whatever came between us." Each time they write a draft of what they want to say. Each time they lose their nerve or don't know how to make the first move. The unsent cards accumulate, each one a failed attempt at reaching out, but also each one processing their own feelings about the estrangement. These unsent cards are poignant because they represent the gap between intention and action, between feeling and expression, between hoping and doing. They're reminders that sometimes our emotions and intentions don't translate into actions, that sometimes we fail to do the things we mean to do, that sometimes life is complicated and messy and we don't always follow through, but even unsent, these cards meant something. The fact that you thought to buy the card, that you considered sending it, that you intended to reach out, that matters too, even if only to you. Let yourself settle even deeper now, feeling peaceful and calm. We're nearly at the end of our journey through the history of greeting cards. Let's come home to the essential truth. Greeting cards exist because humans need connection. We need to know we're thought of, remembered, valued. We need to mark important moments, births, deaths, milestones, celebrations, sorrows. We need to express feelings that sometimes we can't express in person or in conversation. We need physical objects that prove ephemeral emotions are real. From ancient Egyptian New Year wishes to modern augmented reality cards, from handmade Valentines to mass-produced Christmas cards, from postcards sent from distant travels to sympathy cards mailed. After loss, all of it comes down to the same simple thing. I'm thinking of you. You matter to me. I wanted you to know. In the long history of greeting cards, what's most beautiful isn't the artistry, though that can be stunning, or the clever messages, though those can be delightful, or the technological innovations, though those can be impressive. What's most beautiful is the human connection underneath it all. Think of all the cards sent over centuries, billions upon billions of cards. Each one represents a moment where someone thought of someone else, a moment of care, of love, of sympathy, of celebration. Each card is a small act of kindness, a small gesture of relationship, a small proof that we're social creatures who need each other. The greeting card industry might rise and fall. Specific companies might come and go. The exact format and technology might change. But as long as humans need connection, as long as we mark important occasions, as long as we want to say, "I thought of you," in a way that's tangible and keepable and real, greeting cards in some form will persist. Picture all the greeting cards in the world right now. Cards sitting in stores, waiting to be purchased. Cards in people's homes, in drawers or boxes, kept as treasures. Cards in the mail, traveling to their recipients. Cards being designed by artists. Cards being written in by people who are thinking of someone they love. Cards being opened, read, appreciated. Cards making people smile, cry, feel less alone, feel celebrated, feel mourned, feel connected. Each card is small. Each one is just paper. But together, they're a web of human connections spanning the globe and spanning centuries. They're proof that we care about each other. They're proof that love and friendship and family and community matter. They're proof that in a vast, often impersonal world, individual relationships are valuable beyond measure. So the history of the greeting card is really the history of human connection. It's the story of how we've tried, across distance and time, to reach each other, to say, I'm here, you're there, but we're connected, you're not alone, I care. And that's a story worth telling. A story worth sleeping to. A story that can carry you gently into dreams, reminding you of all the connections in your life, all the people who have thought of you, all the cards you've received and sent over the years. Let yourself drift now, peacefully, thinking of greeting cards like bridges between hearts, like paper hugs, like bottled affection that can be opened and felt again and again. Sleep well knowing that somewhere in the world, right now, someone is addressing a card to someone they love. The simple, beautiful tradition continues. Rest easy in the knowledge that you too have sent cards, received cards, been part of this long chain of human kindness and connection, stretching back through time. Let the gentle story of greeting cards carry you softly into sleep. Sweet dreams.